Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Let's Talk with Mike. This week, like I told you last week, we're going to talk about publishing a book, which is very difficult, and almost all the writers think they have some kind of a mind goal when they write a book. But listen, there's about 1 million writers that are trying to get published. But it's harder than it looks, you know. I did try. I wrote a book about 2 years ago. I did it in English. It's a fictional book, but it's based on real and historical event. My problem, and now we're getting specific, my problem, especially for me, is the word Hitler. Let me explain. I have my main character in my book, which is named Stan Gillis. Stan Gillis, well, I'm going to spare you with all the details, but in big, what happens is that he doesn't know why. He dreams about everything strange. He dreams always about things that happen in wars. It took him a lot of years, and with his girlfriend, they find out why, and they're able to target where it comes from. It comes from Germany, and it got something to do with war. So he doesn't know exactly, but he dreams especially about a house. And the house he dreams about, he eventually finds out, is the Berghof. The Berghof is the house of Adolf Hitler. So he promised himself in a couple of years when he's going to be able to have the money. So a lot of things happened between that time. He promised himself to go in Germany, in Bavaria, and look the Berghof, the rooms of the Berghof, because it's all been destroyed. So when he gets there, when he's kind of old, well, in the 50s, so it's not that old. So he gets there, something strange happened. It's a beautiful day. He gets right on the spot where the Berghof was, and the sky becomes gray, dark, and it's getting rainy and everything. So what happens is he loses consciousness, and when he regains his consciousness, you see that it's all sunny, and he's in some sort of a gray suit. So he look around, he see his reflection in a glass door, and he sees his reflection, but it's not his, it's Adolf Hitler. So that's the main purpose of my story, is that Stan Gillis, for reasons that we are not clear, we don't quite know, gets to be in the body of Adolf Hitler in 1936. So his main purpose is to try to change what happened during the war with the Jews, with everything. So we follow Stan Gillis, who is Adolf Hitler. We follow him from 1936 to 1935. And he tries a lot of things. We come in contact with Eva Braun. We go to their personal life. So through my main character of Stan Gillis, I recall facts that are seldom known to the public about the life of Adolf Hitler. And between 1936 and 1935, if I tell you that he was in one place that day and that year, you can bet he is, and it's verifiable. So my problem, to make a long story short, it's already too long, is that as soon as you mention the name Hitler, it becomes a problem. They think that it's racially, you know, that you want to go somewhere with it. It's a anti-Semite or something like that, but it's really not. It's fictional, and even I want to do a series about Stan Gillis, and the next book is going to go in someone else, which I won't tell you, but he's going to go in someone else that was great in the history of the world. So you see, that was my book. That's the Berghoff you see there. So it's hard. So what I did, I tried to have it published, that's for sure. So I did send a copy of my book through mail and through email to, listen, at least 100 publishers. It all came back rejected. There's only one who was on the verge of accepting, but he wanted me to change the character, that he wanted me to change Adolf Hitler into someone else, someone unknown. Well, it doesn't make sense. It defeats the purpose of it all. So I said no. So that was, I don't know if it's an offer. It's an offer with Spike Lee, so I refused it. The other way to go around this, and listen, you can Google it, because I won't give you the address. It's crazy. There's thousands and thousands of addresses of publishers. What most of the writers came to do, who come of doing, is that they go to self-publishing. That's a good idea, but I did a lot of research also. First, seldom people who self-publish make money. It's very rare. In fact, you have less chance of even getting your initial money invested back. It can cost you $1,000 and even more. But just to get it back, forget about it. There's not a big margin of profit to be made. So it's very hard. So I don't think it's the way to go. To be frank, maybe I'm even gonna go there. The problem I have now is I'm writing 4 other books, but I put myself in a position that it's hard for me to do anything else than YouTube. Because YouTube, I put about between 4 and 8 videos per week, and just to edit everything, that's crazy the time it takes me. And I don't do this only, I have to work, so my time is all taken for YouTube. So I hope YouTube is going to get me somewhere, because I'm neglecting something else, you know, like my books, like a lot of things I want to do. So self-publishing, it's a good idea, but don't think for a minute you're going to make money from it. It's very rare. Listen, there's less than 1% of all the writers that self-publish that make money. That's normal if you think about it, because there's millions of writers out there that they want to make money and they self-publish. Well, and don't forget, there's another thing. You have publisher that you can self-publish, that they ask a big price, and they're most of them that they just not only ask for a payment, but they don't even prove your book. And let me tell you, from experience, you have to have your book proof. You have to have a proofing of your book, that's for sure. Because, listen, I think I read my book about 5 or 6 times. I looked at it back and forth, back and forth. Every time I looked at it, I did find things that need some work, or to change words in a phrase, something like that. So you have to have a proof. But a proof, do you know how much it costs? It can go into thousands of dollars. If you're lucky, you're going to pay just a couple of hundred, but forget about it. And we won't even get to translation. Now forget about it. We're talking about a price that would blow your mind. So for me, on and all, publishing a book, it's almost for fun. And you know, it's self-indulgence. When you write a book, you're proud of it because you put a lot of time in it. My book took me a year to write, but it took me about 3 and 4 years of research. And when I'm talking research, I'm talking every day for a couple of hours at least. to research for this book. So it can be a problem. It can be a problem, and let me tell you, it's hard for your self-esteem when you're rejected, because be prepared, it happens a lot. So unfortunately, it happens to me. I don't say self-publishing is bad, but don't get your hopes up. You know, because there's a lot of people, there's millions of books out there with eBay book and everything, ebook, and even with Amazon, there's millions and millions of it. So if you don't have a publisher to stand by you, how the heck are you going to do the marketing for the book? So it's like I'm telling you, it's very hard. And you can have a book agent. The book agent, try just to have one. They look at you like if you were nothing. You have to have something special to get one, and you're going to pay. So that's the worst case scenario. So on and all, I'm not saying that getting a book published it's impossible. Maybe my book is not good enough and yours is. Maybe that's what's happening. I hope for you. But for me, I know that, well, you know what? I know that my book isn't that bad. But I know that the subject is touchy. Even in 2017, when you talk about the Nazi and Hitler, you're going on sleepy road, you know, it's a touchy subject. Let's leave it at that. So, I'm going to write some other book. What? I wrote mine in English, thinking that it's going to be easier to have it published, but forget about it. And another thing, all the publishers, there's thousands and thousands of them, but they all have main subject. It's not some of them only children books, you know, some of them only cookbooks. So that's the problem. So yes, self-publishing, it's an option. I don't think it's the best option, but if you wrote your book 2, 3, or 4 years ago and nothing happens, well, maybe it's better to self-publish than nothing at all. So that's the way I see it. But if you're going to self-publish, do it for as less money as possible, because nothing's guaranteed. So for me, if I have to go there, I'm going to go through, I think, ebook, something like that. I think it's going to be better than a paperback, you know, because paperback, you have to have print, you have to have your book printed, and that's another big cost. So your margin of profit, listen, you're going to make 20 cents, maybe $1 a book, forget about it. Well, for me, like I said, it's not something that we're going to say no to it. It's an option. It's an option, but stay clear in your head. It's not the best thing, and you won't get millions of dollars. So keep your day job, that's for sure. So listen, guys, I think that's going to be all for this week. Publishing a book, you know, I think it's the worst thing that you can do, because you put a whole lot of work into it and it doesn't pay off. Sometimes it never pays off. So I think it's more of a, you know, something that you do for yourself. You are proud, you know, you take a book and you say, look, that's what I wrote, you know, that's one hell of a big book, you know. So that's something to be proud of, but not necessarily something you're going to make money of. So next week, guys, on Let's Talk with Mike, I'm gonna give a follow-up on my diet, how it's going. It's going great. I'm gonna give you a follow-up, what I did before and after 2 months, what I'm doing now, and it seems to work. So everything's good so far. So let's see what happens. See you next week on Let's Talk with Mike. Take care, guys. Ciao.